Customers turn to Ignition Point Ventures for really two key opportunities. One is that they're looking to improve their operations or their organizational agility. And the other is rethinking their go-to-market in terms of ways to attract and retain customers. In this segment, we're going to talk about organizational agility. An ability for an organization to adapt to change, whether it be market conditions, a merger or acquisition, or some other environmental change, really has three key dimensions. It's technology, its process, and its people. And it's fundamentally interesting to us that most organizations will take those opportunities in that order. We believe that that should be flipped, and focusing on people will really make the biggest difference in an organization's ability to adapt. The agile nature of a business is dependent upon their people's ability to adapt. And when we think about people, it's attitude and its aptitude that will shape their adaptability. So we believe attitude is a really important factor. If not more important than aptitude, at least a precursor to it. So we'll look at the value systems, we'll look at what people are doing today, and then use that to persuade and motivate them to improve and adjust their competencies and capabilities in order to become more nimble in the future. Well, a newly hired VP of this very large services business within a multi-billion-dollar high-tech company had a really clear vision of how he was going to create greater agility in his business. He was going to take the 12 self-contained, largely independently run regional businesses and consolidate them into 3 functionally aligned organizations. Well, when we looked at the situation, we conducted a series of interviews that was aimed to learn about the opportunities that the existing employees thought were right for the business and how they felt about the jobs that they were doing. What was really interesting about it was that we learned over and over again that these 10-plus year veterans have seen many regimes come and go, and they had created a sense of complacency, almost a been there, done that whatever organizational change that was coming their way, they simply needed to ride it out, because soon enough some new person would be in place and they would have their own ideas. So we realized that we had to really shake things up and create real passion and energy around the new alignment and the promise of agility that this new structure would bring. We took a risk, and what we did was we brought together 50 high-level directors and high performers and pre-announced the organizational realignment before it was shared with the entire organization. And the intent was to really get them to understand the vision, to work with the new functional leaders so they could define a strategy, and then most importantly, help them internalize the change and what it means to the business so they could articulate that in positive ways to their teams once the broader organizational announcement went out. And said one veteran who'd been there for 15 years that he had never felt more energetic and more enthusiastic about being part of this business as he was that day when we adjourned the meeting. We really stayed engaged with that opportunity for several more months to really make sure that the employees could determine that yes, in fact, the changes that we've made have made us more agile and have benefited the organization and them personally. 2 key programs that we were involved in after the announcement was the creation of a shared services staffing model. Again, high risk, because managers had to give up some control to a centralized organization. But by working with them, we really understood what value we could bring to that business. And the other was to create national technical communities that really demonstrated the value of having these functionally aligned people work together and share ideas and best practices. In each case, we had about a 90% adoption rate within the first few weeks of rolling it out. And that really enabled us to to live the promise of agility. And now that the company is 3 years into this effort and they are exceeding all of their success metrics around margins, around customer attainment, and around loyalty.